Hi everyone, today we're going to be going over the installation process regarding door locks. I know that you guys send these out through the mail, so sometimes it might be a little bit difficult to instruct customers on how to install these things and stuff like that. So we want to give you guys that visual in terms of how this is done. So just kind of sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get started. Video editing magic, let's go! Bam! Look at that, that's incredible. Disassembled instantly. Anyways, so the very first thing I want to go over is kind of everything that the customer is going to have in the package that they receive when they get their door lock in the mail. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and go all the way over from your right to the left. So they're going to have the lock itself. This is the largest piece of the door lock. So again, this is just the turning mechanism. This is where they turn it left and right to lock the door once everything is assembled. Then they have the bolt. This is this is the first thing that you install into the door. Then they have the keyhole, which comes with a little kind of bolt here that you have to line up and stuff like that. Again, we're going to go over all of this. You have the number pad right here, which has this dangling wire hanging down from the bottom of it. This is the mounting bracket. This is probably going to be the most difficult part of the process for most customers, especially if they don't have anyone else around to help them. If they have someone to help them, it's going to be pretty easy, but this is going to be the most difficult part, and you'll see that in the video. We have a set of 6 screws. I've arranged them all the way from the smallest to the second smallest to the largest. These aren't really screws, they're more like bolts, but again, screws, bolts, whatever. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the process. Yeah. So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take the bolt and you're going to insert it into the door. First, they'll need to remove the old bolt. That's pretty easy. This is all standard across the board. Their old one should also have 2 screws that holds it in place. Just remove it and then take the one that comes with the door lock they received in the mail and insert it like so. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that there is a fin right here that the customer needs to have facing up. So make sure that that is facing up before they install it, or else it's just not going to work properly. It'll be upside down. So it should be pretty easy to install. The size of these things is standard across the board, so there shouldn't be any additional drilling or resizing or anything that needs to be done. So anyways, so once they've done that, their door should look like this. Now, it does sit in there by itself, but it's not very flush. So what I would recommend doing, just to make sure that the screws don't strip or anything like that, is actually having them hold it down while they screw things in. You're going to take your first set of screws, which is the black screws. They're the second smallest ones. If you tell the customer to take the black screws and put it in here, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. So go ahead and put that one in, screw it in. The biggest thing here, what you want to make sure the customer is aware of, is that there's nothing sticking out. So they do need to put a little bit of pressure on here to make sure that the bolt is aligned properly with the door. Because if it's not and there's anything sticking out, then the door is going to get caught and it's not going to close properly, and it's just going to be a huge issue, and we really don't want that. This is what it should look like. Again, you can see how this is. You can see what I mean by it just all needs to line up very, very well. So once you've gone ahead and done that, then you're actually going to take the keypad and you're going to insert the keyhole right in. Now there is actually lettering on the top of the keyhole, because again, this can also be put in upside down, so make sure that this is also right side up. Just ask the customer to look for the lettering. Yeah, it says quick set. Make sure that it is legible. If it's not, like if it's upside down, they should know. But for the most part, just make sure that it's right side up. You can do that easily by looking at the lettering on the keyhole itself. Now, this doesn't snap into place. It just drops into place, which is really easy to put it together with. However, the problem is if the customer's not careful, it falls out. So this is, again, this being the keyhole, this is one of the pieces of equipment that we want to be more careful with. So again, just make sure that the customer is aware that they need to handle this with relative caution and stuff like that. Well, I guess I wouldn't say caution. They just need to be careful with it, because if they drop it and breaks, then they have to wait for a whole new door lock, and that's just not fun. Once they've done this, they will need to hold the keyhole into the number pad, and they will need to take the wire and they will need to insert it into the bottom portion of the lock itself. What I mean by that, there's this bar right here. They just need to make sure that the wire is on the bottom portion of that. So once they've done that, they will go ahead and just fit that in. It's pretty easy, and then they'll just make sure that the bar from the keyhole itself matches up with the hole that came with the bolt. And then once they've done that, they will just simply hold it. Now again, this is where it becomes a little bit more difficult. The reason why is because this doesn't stay in place once it's, you can see how easy this can fall. And since we're working with 2 pieces here, it becomes even more important that we keep this held into the door. Once they've got that through, you can see the wire down here at the bottom. Then they will need to take the mounting bracket. They will need to take the mounting bracket, and then they will need to funnel the wire through this hole right here. Once they've done that, and it's pretty self-explanatory, it just takes a little bit of maneuvering to get the hang of. There is a second hole for the wire to go into. So once they've got the mounting bracket on and they've got the wire through it, you're gonna have something that kind of looks like this. What's important is to make sure that these 2 holes right here, these 2 holes line up with the other side of the door lock. So these 2 holes need to line up with 2 holes on here. The reason why is because now we're going to go ahead and put in our 2 bolts, or biggest screws if you want to call them that. Fortunately, this part is pretty easy since everything matches pretty well and lines up pretty perfectly. The problem again is just holding the everything together while you're doing so. So you can see I didn't have to fidget much to get that done, and I've already got these lined up pretty good. So we're gonna give it a shot and see where we're at. So we've already got one that's screwing in pretty easily. Give it a second here. It does take a while for it to screw in, so bear with me. Once you've gone ahead and got all of that done and you've got it lined up to where you want it to be, just tighten the screws that the bolts down as best as you can, or as tight as you can. Don't strip them though, that would suck. And then from there, you're pretty much done. Now this is the last part of the installation itself. There is a little plug-in for the door lock right here that the customer needs to be aware of. If you've ever worked or unplugged a backup battery of a Go control panel, this will be pretty similar. Now this is something that I found out. The lock itself, this part right here, is shaped in a way where the wire can fit into. The reason why you want to do that is because we don't want the wire to get caught up on anything. So there will be this little section over here that the customer can put the wire in, and then that way you don't have to really worry about it. Now from here, you're just going to go ahead and align the hole of the door lock up with the bolt. Once you've gone ahead and done that, you are good to go. You just need to screw everything. You just need to do 2 more screws after that, and then you are super solid. So let's go ahead and do that right now. You can seat the screw on top of the screwdriver, and a lot of screwdrivers are magnetic anyways, so it'll stay on there. This one unfortunately isn't. So you just take the screwdriver and very carefully, there you go, just insert the screw, and it automatically lightens itself up. It's pretty cool, makes your life a lot easier. The one thing with these screws, since they are so small, some customers might find it difficult to handle them, and again, them being so small, they're pretty easy to lose. So just make sure the customer is aware to, again, handle with caution. Be careful with them because we don't want them to be dropped. If they drop, then we don't have a way to fasten everything down. This is what basically allows the door lock to stay on the door. Once you've gone ahead and done that, you can make a couple of adjustments and everything should be good. And if you've done everything correctly, it should lock, which it does, which is super awesome. So again, super easy, not very difficult. We have a little clicking going on, which is cool. And then you can take the cover, boom, put it right on, and you're good. This is honestly easier to put together than most Lego sets that kids have to go through nowadays. So yeah, other than that, I really appreciate your time. Hopefully this helped you guys out a lot. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Again, thanks for watching. Take a breather. If you found this useful, right on. But yeah, have a good day. You guys deserve it. So, see ya.